following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
What is up and what's happening, everybody, and welcome into another episode of the Uptempo Podcast. I'm your host, Blake Lane, here tonight with my co-host, Dustin Smith. Like always, we are here to talk a little Auburn A-Day, and after that, we will kick it over to Denver Jones, signing with Bruce Pearl and the Auburn Tigers, a huge pickup for BP and the boys, and we will talk a little bit more about what else we expect to come from that program and that side of things. But first off, Dustin, man, how you doing tonight?
I'm good, buddy. We're about 30 minutes away from our rematch versus Georgia Tech, and you just informed me on who's going to be starting, so I guess intrigued would be a polite way of putting it.
We've gotten on here a couple times and said that Mr. Alsop needs to be put on the shelf maybe and needs to sit down for a minute or get some time to reflect or something, man. But tonight he gets the start. So we're just hoping for positive things. Hopefully by the time everybody is listening to this, it is good vibes from the Auburn baseball program. And hopefully
come on,
Chase. Yeah, he has a night to remember, hopefully, because this is a big midweek game, man. Auburn needs to start with some positivity. I actually messaged Coop today and said, hey, the season starts today. All right, this is a new season. The comeback starts today. You get a dub tonight. You look into the series with Alabama, and you take that series on the road, and you really start to get on some momentum and head towards the right direction. So we're really, really wishing the baseball program a lot of luck tonight, some good vibes, and hopefully we can get a big-time victory on the road at Georgia Tech over there in Atlanta, Georgia. So we know that's going to be a battle, man. Every time we play there, there's a lot of crazy innings that go down with the Georgia Tech Ramblin' Wreck. So Dustin, I know we're here. We're going to try to keep it relatively short tonight, but there was a wild A-Day on the plains, man. It rained. It was a hurricane, a monsoon, whatever you want to call it, man. It was tough to read. I see a lot of people saying, well, Auburn didn't look good. I disagree. I think it was just way too hard to really take anything away from what happened last Saturday at Jordan-Hare. There were some good things, but it's just really hard to get a read on what was really happening out there with Hugh and the guys not really being able to do what they wanted to do. And I know there was some rumblings of Hugh really wanting to move it inside, and we kind of talked about that on our last episode. I know you said that you would have really liked to go inside and him just really see the quarterbacks just throw it around the yard. But, man, just give me your overall thoughts on what happened last Saturday on the Plains.
I don't think that they could have moved it in. They didn't move it inside because they charged money for tickets. And and I know Zach Blackerby on Locked On was been pretty outspoken about this for some time. Don't charge for A-Day. Like it's a scrimmage. In the last 10 to 15 years, we've put up with a lot of shit. So just kind of do us a solid. And if you didn't sell those tickets, then you probably would have just said, okay, we'll move it inside and yada, yada, yada. I don't know. Again, like I said last time, man, you got a $100 million facility. I knew a week beforehand that this was going to be this way. I mean, it was 100% all weekend long. So I canceled my trip. Got my money back for the baseball tickets, all that. So you saw this coming. So I would have liked to have seen you easily can set up some cameras in that indoor facility. I mean, they do anyway for practice. This could have been much more planned out. And it sucks, and quit doing it on Easter weekend. Like that's a tough weekend to get people to try to come out. There's just a lot of stuff about it where it's kind of unfortunate because as corny as it sounds, it is kind of for the fans, like it is for us. It's nice. It's nice to be able to sit in the football stadium in April and get that little taste, and then you're always able to go over into the baseball game afterwards. A-Day is one of my favorite times. So not a whole lot of stuff they could have done about the rain, but maybe just from at least giving us something as fans to watch from the football perspective, you could have moved that thing inside. I mean, you can't get any judgment off of what you saw. I mean, they cut out a whole quarter. I would say for me, bro, the only thing I really take out of it is looking at the personnel groupings. Like,
Mhm.
it says a lot that Robby Ashford was the first quarterback out. It says a lot that Holden was the third. Because at this point in his career, I gotta call it what it is, man. If Holden's still behind TJ, then he's not progressing the way that I was hoping for him to be progressing. Um,
Mhm.
so I think that the offense looked a lot. It looked the most crisp. It looked the most like focused with a sense of purpose with Robby under quarterback.
Mhm.
And then I look at guys like Wilkie Denard, Kay and Lee, Keldrick Falk, Connor Liu getting to start with the injury to Jeremiah Wright, but that's telling you that he's that sixth man on that offensive line. You know somebody's going to get hurt on the offensive line in SEC play, and they're already expecting Liu to be able to step in. And Cole Pinkston was tweeting out different videos. Go on his Twitter and check out. He was talking about just high level some of the stuff that Connor Liu already is doing. So that kind of stands out to me, like big recruiting wins that he was able to flip late that are already in there with no later than the twos for any of those guys. I mean, Kay and Lee, bro, to be out there already in our secondary,
Yeah.
ahead of some of the guys he's ahead of. That kid is an absolute stud. So not a whole lot to take away from it, but I say like the personnel groupings, because you can say all he wants, right, about we don't have a depth chart and all this kind of that's
Yeah.
cap. That's
Yeah.
because you have to have it. I mean, and you saw those guys are out there with who you know are the ones, the guys you know are the twos. So
Mhm.
that's really just kind of what I look at and take away from it. And I think we're going to have some decent kickers because you missed that one, but he wasn't like he came up short. But I'm
Yeah.
excited for McPherson and I think that'll be a nice little change of pace for us as well to have a kicker we can depend on again.
Yeah, man. Baby McPherson is a stud, man. Just uh, absolute nails, and you got a small little glimpse of it last year. But a monstrous leg, man. That ball looked like it was good from 65. I mean, he just
Yeah.
hammered that thing in those conditions too.
Yeah.
Impressive, man. So that was really nice to see. And man, let's start right here with Robby Ashford. And I'm kind of with you. I felt like he took complete control of this quarterback race. But one thing the Auburn and the entire fan base is kind of looking at, do you still think Hugh goes to the portal? Because I do. I think, especially after what TJ Finley said, it looks like he's gone. I mean, he's basically saying, hey, look, if I don't start, I don't care. You know, whatever. I don't know if I can be a backup. All right. Well, that right there tells me whatever is going on in that locker room, I don't know how, as a teammate, that's the last thing I want to hear. I don't know how guys can get down with that. I really don't. So I think he leaves, and I think Hugh is open up to somebody in the portal. And I know a lot of people still are high on Grayson McCall from Coastal Carolina. I don't know who it's going to be, but I know Hugh is down for competition, and he's definitely going to bring at least one guy in here to really battle this thing out with Robby Ashford. And who knows, man, what does Holden do? Does Holden still sit at number 3, or does Holden hit the portal? I don't know,
Right.
man. I really don't at this point. So just give me your thoughts, man. And Robby Ashford, I know Auburn didn't sling it around the yard, but damn it, Robby was moving the football.
Yeah, I mean he had the biggest pass completion of the day,
He sure
and
did.
that's kind of one thing too with Robby is that it's as funny as weird as it kind of as it doesn't fit what you would think how it would work, but I trust Robby throwing the ball 45 yards much more than I trust him right now throwing the ball 5 to 10 yards, right?
Yeah.
So we we
Yeah.
we know we know he can throw darts. It's just about getting that consistency down. We've talked about it before, not to dig up a dead horse, but can you judge anybody that had to play with the offensive gurus that are Brian Harsin and Eric Keesall called them plays? I mean, we saw a makeshift Cadillac, Will Friend, Ike Hillard offense immediately get miles better. Just a true testament to how bad Keesall and Harsin suck at coaching football.
Mhm.
So like it's hard to judge. It's hard to like for me to look at it and just be too critical of anybody other than maybe like the senior offensive line, the guys that just had 4 years of bad tape. But from a quarterback standpoint, I think that we saw plenty of things last year, especially intangible wise. Me and you were texting about it today. Just, man, give me a guy like Robby that maybe you have to calm down versus a guy like Stidham where you're looking at, and this is no shot at Stidham. He's in the NFL, and hope he wins that starting job and hope he, has a good career. It's just there are times where you look at him and you're like, man, maybe you're a little too dry. Like there just ain't enough juice there. I don't think that's a problem that Robby's going to have. I don't think that you're going to have a problem getting guys even on the defensive side to want to play for Robby. He's people will play for a fighter like that. And like I told you today, I always hark back to the 2013. We went on the road to Tennessee, and Nick Marshall completed 2 passes, and we kicked their ass. Like, we only need to throw the ball 10 to 15 times a game if we're going to be physical up front and establish it. And what do you say, man? Robby Ashford, Jarquez Hunter, Battie looked like he had some pop. Jeremiah Cobb's not even on campus yet. Sean Jackson looked nice running in between the tackles. Like,
he did.
I'm telling you, bro, we're going to be able to run the football. We're going to run the football this year. Trust me on that. So if you can just find 10 to 15 completions in that game, I'm telling you, man, I think, and on the point of a transfer, Grayson McCall is the only kind of guy that I can see coming in and beating out Robby, because a guy that has experience. The guy at NC State, his name is starting to get thrown around, and I heard this from somebody on the beat a month ago. So now I can kind of say publicly, because other people are starting to come out and say this guy's a possibility. His name slips my mind. But my thing with that is a guy like that has less starts than Robby. Or if you bring in a guy that just, if you bring in a guy, here's my point. Is it going to be somebody that is entrenched in his starting spot elsewhere? No. You're a starting quarterback entrenched at a Power 5 school isn't going to risk getting up and losing that spot and having to learn a new system, especially now post spring. I mean, whoever this is only going to get some summer workouts, and then they're going to they're going to be behind every quarterback in that room. So they're going to be miles behind Robby. So for me, it's just, I don't see who you're going to, unless it's somebody like Grayson, who's played 3-4 years of football to where you say, I bet he can get this system down in a month. Sure. But if it's somebody else, man, that's losing their battle where they're at, and that's why they're coming here, it's hard for me to get excited about that over Robby. And one final point on this is, when you go through a year where you don't make a bowl game last year, let's not waste the training moments that Robby had. Let's not waste those downs. You know what I'm saying? Like, you had to go through hard times. You had to go through struggle with him. He had to learn a lot of lessons. He's got to learn to hold on to that football. But you don't want to. But let's use that for growth. Let's look back at that season and say, okay, well, he figured some things out, and we saw some potential. And now with some real offensive coaches, I don't think it's a stretch, Blake, that Robby gets to 58, 60% completion, and we establish the run it and we run the football. I think that's very, very doable.
Yeah, and that's the thing with Robby, man, is just get the quick hitters, man. Hit the check downs and everything. He can make the big time throws, man, but it's the easy ones. It's the slants across the middle, man, where he just struggles. It's screens. He couldn't hit them last year. I remember back to the Georgia game, man. It was like a pure struggle for him, man. He would have Tank out in the flat, and he would just overthrow him, or Jarquez right there on the sideline. I think it was Jarquez, where he was just wide open, and he just overthrew him, and there was nobody within 15 yards of him. And so, those are the ones that you really got to hit. I say that about Grayson, man, because I agree with you. I do think that's the one guy that can come in and actually be a teacher to Robby, and for Robby to sit behind him and learn even more, all right, and then come back next year and absolutely be that guy once Grayson moves on. But really and truly, man, it looks like Robby Ashford for now until further notice. I think, when does the portal opens up? What, next week? I think it is.
I think this weekend. I believe it's this weekend, like Saturday, I think.
Okay. So we're going to find out a lot more within the coming weeks. When does it? I think it closes at the end of the month.
Yeah, it's only
Okay.
It's only open for 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yeah, it's open for 2 weeks. Closes at the end of the month. I think on like what the 30th. Okay.
Yeah, they keep switching it every year, so it's hard to know exactly the dates.
Yeah, it's insane. So, one thing I did want to touch on this episode, man, was what did you think about the offensive line? I know that is the one position group that the Auburn family is just waiting to see, have been waiting to see, have been wanting to see improvement, man. What did you think about those guys in the trenches?
I thought it looked night and day. Now the thing about this is, and this is why I'm glad that Hugh's suggestion of playing somebody else in the spring game is starting to gain traction, because I also look at it and go, well, what's up with our D line? So it goes both ways, but I think that I just think it looked like there was a different attitude. They looked confident, man. They looked physical. They were getting off the ball. There wasn't this pitter patter kind of second guessing that we've seen for so long now. Avery Jones looked good getting to the second level, getting everybody set up. To have a guy like Connor Lew, who's supposed to be getting ready for prom right now, out there moving guys like Jason Jones and Justin Rogers around, that's impressive, man. That is impressive. We have got there's a reason why Hugh kind of sat back 2 weeks ago at his press conference and said, we nailed this one. This kid's going to be one of the best offensive linemen to come through Auburn in a very, very long time. So there's Gunnar Britton, looking good out there at tackle. Man, it's just going to be – I think I read today that we, in the last 5 years, we have never finished the highest we finished, and I don't know exactly how you would word it, but efficiency for protecting the passer is 89th in the country. That's been our highest. So in 5 years. So it's hard, you know. You look at a guy like Bo Nix, he goes out west, and yes, it's a completely different style of ball, but all of a sudden he completes 71% of his passes and throws for over 3,000 yards. A lot of that's got to do with time, just having time to throw the ball. So just night and day. If we get that kind of performance from the offensive line, like I said, it goes back to what I was saying about Robby. You just don't have to be the most crisp type passing offense. You just have to be able to hit enough of those things to keep the defense honest. And if you can run the ball down the other team's throat, then every Auburn fan, that's what gets us off. So that's how we win games. We get back to running it in between the tackles, and that's when we win SEC championships.
Love that. Yeah, man. Look, I know you mentioned Connor Lew right there, but let's flip over to the defensive side of the ball. And you kind of mentioned that defensive front there. What was it looking like? Was Keldrick Falk a big winner in your eyes? And we obviously know about K.N. Lee and what he has done in that secondary. Some think that he is pushing Nehemiah and could possibly be the starter. And that says a lot, because Nehemiah is a guy that's been around the block. All right. And he come back this year. So that speaks for itself right there, man. What are some things that you saw out of these cats?
Yeah, my boy JD, he gets hurt and he misses a couple weeks, and K.N. Lee just pops right in there and says, man, I got you. That's the thing about football, bro. It's cutthroat. When you recruit the defensive backs the way that we've been recruiting them, you can't mess up. I mean, you can't. You get hurt, and then a guy like that comes in there. There's a reason why Ohio State pushed so hard to get K.N. Lee. And it just all three of these guys were flips post Hugh. That just speaks to you just have to be competent in recruiting. Auburn can get really good players based off of just being Auburn. But look at a cat like Ryan Williams. He's a 2025 wide receiver. Talked about how his first visit, I believe it was the Penn State game, maybe LSU last year, but no one even talked to him for 2 hours from the coaching staff. It was other people's parents kind of telling him where to go. No one was showing his family around. And then Harsin walked right by him and then stood looking at his phone for 10 minutes while Ryan Williams was 5 feet away from him, and Harsin never spoke a word. That's a 5-star wide receiver, man. Like, it's just inexcusable.
Mm-hmm.
You get a guy like like Hugh in here. I talked to a guy from the Pensacola area. I talked to a recruit today that was there this weekend. Just kind of asked him, hey man, did the weather dampen the atmosphere and all that? And he said, like, yeah, from a fan's perspective, you know, we wanted to see obviously like a big crowd and get to do the whole Auburn experience. But he's like, man, I got a lot of one time with Hugh, and his words were, this is a class of 2025 kid. His words were, most down to earth, coolest coach that I've met with yet. So that's why you have these guys. And a guy like Keldrick, look, we're super, super thin on the edge. This is why I asked Ike a couple weeks ago, do you think that a guy like Keldrick is going to get in there and start day one? And he said, maybe not day one. And I kind of disagree with him, because I don't see a lot of options on that edge. I mean, a guy like Elijah McAllister from Vanderbilt, I'm not throwing shade, but I think he got 2.5 sacks last year. Like, how much can you expect from that? I just think, and man, you saw Keldrick, like the kid looks like an NFL defensive end, bro. Like he is just built that way. So it goes to recruiting, and you have to win these battles, because you have to have the guys in this league to even compete. And if we're going to win 8-9 games this year, which Hugh's kind of saying is his goal, he's making no bones about, I want a quick turnaround. We're going to need these impact freshmen to come in and play right away. And you're going to need some guys like we saw Wilkie Denard getting in there and getting reps. You're going to have another guy on the edge. I think it's Braden Williamson, a late 3-star signee from Opelika. Didn't make a lot of noise, but made a lot of noise in camp. You know, stars on everything type thing. So there's going to be these young guys that are going to have to come in for us and make an impact early. And none of us expect to win the SEC West this year, right? But when you look at that and you say, man, we're going to be kind of young this year. Look at these guys. Look at the reps they're going to get. How does that set you up for the coming years? And then when Hugh really starts to pump in more of these type classes, it's a good start, man.
I expect Angel Reese energy. I expect rings from day one, bro. Hey, don't tell me it can't happen, because I just watched LSU do it. I just watched LSU do it last year, bro. They won the West the first year with BK down there. So no, I
still think we're thin. I just think we're thin in some spots.
Yeah, no doubt. Realistically, you know, I'm hoping for 8 wins. Realistically,
yeah,
you know, I'm shooting for 8. That would put a smile on my face and bring us back from the dumpster fire that we had to go through the last 2 years, the pit of misery. And I mean, Jesus, tough to even talk about, man. I don't even like talking about it. But man, wrapping up the A-Day stuff, just, you know, your overall thoughts on just Coach Hugh Freeze and the staff and everything they've done, Cadillac and Zach and all these, Trayvon, man, and all these cats.
Go look at what Perry Thompson just posted on his Instagram. I mean, it's coming.
Talk to me.
It's coming.
Talk to me.
Cam Coleman, that commitment's coming, guys. These Sterling Dixon, these things are going to happen, bro. They're going to happen. And I just keep saying, when you are already starting to win those kind of battles, Walker White, when you're beating out Clemson, when Clemson identifies him as their guy, goes all in, and you just beat him. That's without proof of concept yet. Just wait till we win 8-9 games this year and make noise. Then it's really going to be something. So I'll say it again. I've said it many times. I'll say it again. I just love the setup of this staff, having the 2 experienced guys as coordinators, having Hugh being able to kind of step back, play that CEO role in the middle of practice, Zooming 5-star recruits, getting them on campus. KJ Bolden, 5-star safety, making a big push. This kid's the number 3 rated prospect in the entire country. All of a sudden, he's been there 2-3 times at least. You got Walker White walking around the sideline going, where's Perry Thompson? I got to talk to Perry Thompson. Everything is headed in the right direction. And I'll say this. Listen to the kids, because I'm just a fan. Anybody that's on the beat, probably an Auburn fan, you know, like, not saying they don't do their jobs and you can't trust them to be professional. I know a lot of these guys, they do their best, but they still love Auburn is my point. Listen to some of these guys like a Sterling Dixon, a guy that came to practices in games last year, and listen to what he says about this weekend compared to last weekend. They make no bones about it. They don't have to lie about this. They'll be honest with you. They have no affiliation to any school. They haven't even picked a school yet. I can at least 6 recruits this weekend alone, Blake, have all said it is night and day from what I came and saw last spring. Just the energy at practice. So that alone, man, like that alone should get you really excited that people can notice there's a noticeable difference in energy and just a want to be out there and a want to play for your head coach. So I couldn't, man, the way that everything has gone since Halloween of last year has just been nothing but stock rising for this program. And I think that you are going to see what Heupel has done at Tennessee is a very, very reasonable expectation for where our program can start going as well. And I'm not a betting person, but if I was, I would bet that that's exactly where we're headed. I have a lot of confidence in this.
I'd love to play in the Orange Bowl in year 2, man. I want to go to Miami.
Man,
I want to go to South Beach. I would love
like to leave
that,
Birmingham for a bowl game. Yeah.
Yeah. That would be fun, man. I would love to go to South Beach. The other time I've been down to South Beach was actually to watch Kyler Murray and Tua Tagovailoa play in the college football playoff game, and that was a good time. But I would like to go down there to watch my Auburn Tigers play in at one time. So, yeah, man, I'm right there with you. And to think some people actually questioned this hire, didn't want it, there was some blowback is, just insane to me, man. Pure insanity. And I still see little comments of, well, Auburn lost their morals and they threw their integrity out and everything. Look, the man is the right guy for the job. And look, if you still got a problem with it, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you feel that way. The man has taken it up with his family. He has taken it up with his Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And guess what? Those are the only people that at the end of the day that he owes anything to. So those are the only people that he's got to be right with. It's his family and his Lord and Savior. So that's it, period. All right. So if you don't like it, I hate it for you. All right. But let me also tell you something. Let me also tell you something, Dustin. When Auburn's sitting at 9-2 or 10-1 or whatever, all right, and you're welcoming in the University of Alabama in the biggest game in college football, I don't want to argue about that either. If you don't think it's the biggest rivalry and the biggest game in college football, go kick rocks. I don't want to see you at Jordan-Hare Stadium, and I've said that multiple times. He's the right guy for the job. And when you do get that taste of knocking off Alabama and Hugh gets to celebrate for beating Nick Saban, I don't know when it's going to happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen this year. But when he does do it, don't celebrate, all right? Don't celebrate. Don't be in here. Just get over yourself because there's nothing you can do about it, honestly. And
send another email.
Yeah, send another email, send another tweet. I don't care. The guy is him, and he's done nothing but great things for the program, and that's all I can ask for. Because we spent 2 years in hell, Dustin. We spent
Absolutely.
2 years in hell, and I'm sorry, that's not Auburn. All right, it's not Auburn football. Nothing that you've seen or heard over that time span was about Auburn football. That's not the way we roll, and we shouldn't be made a mockery of. You hear me, Dustin? We shouldn't be made fun of, man. And like there was legitimate Ole Miss people, Ole Miss fans were making fun of Auburn. All right, a team that has been in a bottom feeder, been in pure purgatory for years, is making fun of you. A team that you were up 35-11 in the all-time series is making fun of you. Mississippi State has a winning streak against you right now because of the man who just walked out the door. And you want to give me some grief about this cat taking the job? Get out of here, man. So I'm sorry I had to get off on a little spill right there. It itches at me, man, when somebody wants to bring that crap up. But yeah, man, I love the energy that Hugh brings, the Yahtzee, the recruiting stories, just everything that he has done, man. Him standing underneath that umbrella the other day and just and letting all the Auburn fans know, man, hey, we're out here. It's a new era, and we're ready to kick some ass. And you can tell in the players, man. Robby, when he sent that tweet out, are just about having fun now. It's just they're out there having fun. So you can tell things are different, man. So we love to see that. But kicking things over here and rounding things up with this episode, Dustin, we wanted to talk a little Auburn basketball. There's been a lot of momentum for Auburn. We know Wendell Green decided to put his name in the NBA draft. That was a little surprising to some people. But obviously, like you called it, you said there was going to be a ton of turnover. You said that BP was going to make some moves. Stretch ends up putting his name in the portal. That opens up another slot for Auburn, and BP goes out and gets my man Denver Jones, man. He commits to Auburn, and he is locked in with BP, ultimately signing with the Auburn Tigers, and he is locked in a 6'4" two guard, Dustin. All right, a guy that can fill it up. All right, put up 20 a game, man. How many times have we prayed for this at Auburn? A 6'4" guard. How many times have we prayed?
Left.
Exactly, man. And guess what? It's here. BP. I think he felt that it needed to happen. And then you had Wes Flanagan. He up and leaves the program. He takes a job with Chris Beard over at Ole Miss. They're building something really nice. The SEC is just going to keep getting more competitive as this thing continues to grow as a basketball conference. Will eventually be the best conference in every sport here coming soon.
Yep.
And so you've had a lot of turnover, man. But Denver, just talk a little bit about his game and just overall everything that's happened in the past week or so with Auburn basketball.
Yeah. The thing that's so nice about Denver is I've watched a little bit more stuff on him and kind of delved deeper into his numbers. Dude, he can score off the dribble.
Mm-hmm.
He can score off the catch and shoot. He can put it on the floor. He can get to the hole. He makes his free throws. Just a guy that you can just really depend on. And see, now you're not as worried about Aiden Holloway and a KD Johnson being a little bit smaller, because it's okay if you have somebody back there with him, then you can play with a smaller one guard if you've got a two to spell it. It's a lot harder when you've got two guys under 6 feet starting in your backcourt. That's just tough. Even if they both can play well, that's just so tough defensively. You're asking a lot of those guys. So yeah, this is huge. I think that with Aiden coming in, he'll probably win the starting point guard spot, but that then gives Trey the opportunity to just be the pure backup, and you'll see his minutes go from 8 to 16, 18, probably somewhere in that range. So just I'm excited to see my boy Trey to get a bigger role. We saw how he came on at the end of the season last year. I will forever say that Bruce should not have pulled him in that second game of the tournament. It went sideways both games when Trey went out. We lost a big lead. So I'm excited for Trey's the opportunity that this is going to give him. I expect nothing but growth and a big step for him. And we still, like you said, with Stretch going, man, there's still some holes to fill. I would like to see a true 5 added, maybe a 6'11", 7 foot 5 that can just play defense and rebound. I'm not too worried about getting much on the offensive end, because that would give Janai the ability to slide down to the 4 and play what I think is more his natural position. So I'm interested to see where all this goes. I know that BP has a plan, and I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see where it how it all shakes out and how he's going to build this team. Is there maybe another high school kid that he had his eyes on that he goes and gets? I don't know. So it's going to be fun, man. It's going to be really exciting. And then you've got the thing that you got to think about with anybody that we add is you've got 3 guys locked in that 2024 class, and Peyton Marshall, the big center, and then our guy LeBaron out of Mobile, and Tahad in New Jersey. So there's that's something to think of. You're a year away from getting some pretty solid reinforcements anyway. So just really, really excited, man, to see kind of how Bruce plays all this out. You've got the guard Oliveira. He'll be visiting this weekend. So I don't know, man. There's still 3 or 4 spots to fill. Like I said, my biggest thing at this point is to that center, maybe adding one more wing, like maybe because we don't know what Flan does, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of up in the air. To me, I want Flan to come back because I don't know if Flan leaves. It'd be kind of hard at this point to find a guy that can give you what he gives you at that 3 spot. I think that would kind of open up a hole that might be hard for us to fill.
Do you think he would follow his dad to Ole Miss, or do you think he would go to the NBA draft? Because Dustin, he was one of the guys that I really wanted to come back, and I know we were talking a little bit with Ike about it, and I really felt like he was starting to get that step back, man. You could tell the Achilles was getting right, and you could see it in the tournament. He was asking for the last shot. His free throw shooting had come on. And just his mid range had come on, his entire game, man. We already know what he can do on the defensive end, and so that was the one guy that I really, really wanted to come back, and hopefully he still does, Yeah. But with Wes going to Ole Miss, what are your do you put a percentage on it, man? Do you think he comes back, or would he go to Ole Miss or the NBA draft?
I mean, I don't know, because if he says he just wants to go with his dad, then I get that. But also, you only have one more year of eligibility. Do you want to go? Do you want to take a step down? Do I think Chris Beard's going to build Ole Miss into a good program? Yes, but right now they're obviously not where we're at. Do you want to take a step down in just everything, prestige, all that kind of stuff, the potential of season you're going to have? Do you want to do all that? And what's your last year of college ball? What are his pro opportunities? Can he make more money at Auburn in NIL than he can make probably playing overseas or playing in the G League or something like that? I don't have all those answers. I think what would be best for him would be to come back to Auburn, finish this thing out. You're going to have a key role. And you look at all these teams that make deep runs in the tournament. They're not patched together young teams.
Yep.
Those teams fall apart in the first round or two. The teams that make deep runs have veterans, have guys like Flan, 4 to 5 year guys like Jay Will. So I want to see as many Alabama. So I want to see as many. Yeah, us with Jabari and Walker, right?
Yeah.
I want to see as many of these guys at this point stay together. Because I don't. Is there an upgrade out? If you like I said, if you lose Flan, I doubt you get an upgrade at that position. You're probably gonna have to settle for something that is less than he is. So and I want to see some of these guys that Flan don't go play 1 year for Ole Miss. That'll be so ugly to see. You're an Auburn Tiger, bro. You've been here for 4 freaking years. Finish out an Auburn Tiger, dog. We need you. We love you. We want you. Finish it out with us.
Love that, man. Love that. I agree as well. I really want Flan to return as long as well with Jalen. I obviously want Jalen Williams to return. I feel like he will return. I would be majorly shocked if we saw anything else about Jalen leaving or anything like that. So, yeah, man, a lot of excitement around the basketball program, though. We knew Bruce would make something shake, and he has, and there's a lot of energy around that program, and a lot of exciting pieces just sitting there waiting to be seen of what happens next. So Auburn's a damn near everything school right now, man. The basketball, the football's getting hot. Hopefully our baseball team can get it turned around. There's still a lot of time left, but it starts tonight, people. So
1-0 right now.
There we go. Hey, I text Coop this morning, man. I text Coop and I said, you keep swinging it, big dog. The season turns around tonight. We're going to be okay. You guys just hang in there and make it happen. And he texted me back and he said, man, look. And he said, we're going to stay together as a club. All right. He said, we're going to keep swinging it. We're going to stay together. We're going to grind this thing out. We're going to turn this baby around. So Chase also gets the ball tonight, man. So, hey, good luck to the fellas. Hopefully we can turn it around. And Dustin, I appreciate you doing this episode, man. I know you've been going through some stuff with your laptop and your mic and everything, and just finding a way to get it done on your phone, man. Oh, that's huge. I thank you, all the hard work and effort that you put in, man. And everybody who's listening, if you could, go like, subscribe, click the bell for notifications on the YouTube channel. We need to really get to 500 subscribers as soon as possible, so we can start making some stuff happen on our YouTube page. Dustin wants to put some polls up and things like that, some graphics and all that good stuff. So we appreciate each and every one of you who listen. Like the video if you can. Comment if you agree or disagree on something that we said. We would love to chat it up with you in the comment section. And with that being said, we're going to end this episode, and I'll always leave y'all every episode with a War Damn Eagle, and we're out. Catch you on the next one.